Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're going to unpack a massive, fundamental shift happening right now in how millions of people across India pay for their housing. If you've ever felt the squeeze of a rental payment, you're going to find the information we cover today absolutely fascinating. So let me just ask you this directly. Does paying rent cause you monthly financial stress? Come on, be honest. If you get that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach right as the first of the month rolls around, trust me, you are completely normal and you are absolutely not alone. For a very long time, this stress was just accepted as a standard part of renting. But as we'll see today, that's finally changing. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the rent payment problem. Second, enter flexible rent payments. Third, why India is changing. Fourth, benefits for everyone involved. And finally, we'll wrap up with the future of rent. All right, starting right off with Section 1, the rent payment problem and why the old system is just breaking. You know the drill. Traditional rent demands a rigid lump sum payment delivered in advance. For decades, it's literally just been a set amount due at the exact start of the month, no questions asked. But here's the thing. This expectation totally clashes with our modern, irregular income patterns. It creates these massive financial bottlenecks for folks who might actually be perfectly financially stable, but, they just don't have all their cash sitting in one place on day one. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine a young professional working in Hyderabad. Week 1 hits, right? EMIs are due. Week 2, the utility bills arrive. Week 3 is dedicated to groceries and your general lifestyle. And then, week 4, rent. Juggling all these overlapping expenses with a massive lump sum payment looming at the top of the month, that causes a severe, incredibly stressful strain on cash flow. Which brings us nicely to Section 2. Enter flexible rent payments. Relief for the modern wallet. So let's clearly define what we're actually talking about here. Rent Now Pay Later is simply the ability to divide your monthly rent into smaller, manageable chunks, or delay payment entirely without getting hit by a penalty. By utilizing these installment structures, it instantly takes the edge off that immediate financial pressure. It allows the tenant to pay right at signing or to choose options that are personally tailored to their unique financial situation. So, the crucial point is this stark contrast. On one side, you have the rigid past, traditional rent, demanding a fixed date and full upfront payment. And on the other side, the customizable future, flexible rent, offering installments that actually adapt to your income. It takes the power and the flexibility and puts it right back into the hands of the renter. Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world? Let's break down the mechanics using a platform like letWizard. It's basically a simple 3-step process. Step 1, you, the tenant, choose flexible terms that fit your budget. Step 2, the platform acts as a bridge and pays your landlord the full rent amount right on time. And Step 3, you repay the platform later. It safely acts as a financial bridge between tenant and landlord, removing the friction entirely. Moving right along to Section 3, why India is changing. The drivers of flexible rent. Look, India's workforce is fundamentally evolving. We're seeing freelancers, gig workers, startup employees, remote professionals. These groups are growing massively. And what do they all have in common? Unpredictable income cycles. A rigid due date on the first of the month is, quite frankly, functionally obsolete when your salary or your client payments might not arrive until the 10th or the 15th or even the 20th. And coupled with that workforce shift is the harsh reality of rising living costs. In major hubs like Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai, this reality demands greater payment flexibility. Rent takes up a huge fraction of a professional's income these days. So as urban residency costs skyrocket, flexible rent stops tenants from having to sacrifice their basic quality of life just to cope with a single, massive housing payment. I love this quote because it really hits the nail on the head. The expansion of digital platforms and fintech solutions have made payment management much easier. With increased financial awareness and widespread digital adoption, modern consumers naturally demand smarter, more intuitive money management tools. I mean, think about it. We use apps for literally everything else, right? It only makes sense we use them to manage our biggest monthly expense. All right, let's transition to Section 4, benefits for everyone involved, the win-win reality. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the advantages happen simultaneously. For tenants, you're getting better cash flow, reduced financial stress, and improved planning. But landlords benefit too. They get guaranteed on-time payments, no more stressful follow-ups, and far better tenant retention. It is the absolute definition of a win-win system. Let's look a little closer at the tenant side. These flexible monthly plans act as a critical safety net. Say you get hit with an unexpected medical bill, or you suddenly need to travel. You can actually align your expenses with your incoming cash, completely escaping the trap of relying on bad, high-interest debt just to make rent on time. Plus, you get to enjoy the smooth, digital convenience of handling the whole shebang from your phone. And for the landlord, services like letWizard eliminate literally the most stressful chore of being a property owner, chasing down late payments. Landlords get guaranteed timely deposits. There's zero chasing, no awkward reminder texts. And here's the best part. Because tenants are less stressed and much happier, landlords see improved tenant satisfaction, which directly leads to reduced vacancy risks. Happy tenants simply stay longer. It's just a fact. Let's move into our final section today, Section 5, the future of rent. Smart, tailored, and digital. To sum it all up, rent payments in India are becoming more tailored, more digital, and just a much better fit for our modern financial routines. As more and more of us settle in these massive major cities and our digital lifestyles continue to expand, flexible rent is rapidly transitioning from, a trendy convenience to an absolute, undeniable urban necessity. Which brings us to the end. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a slightly provocative question to chew on. Is your rent payment system keeping up with your modern lifestyle? Take a second to really think about your own financial habits. If the old, rigid way just isn't working for you anymore, whether you're a tenant looking for better cash flow management or a landlord who just wants reliable payments, it might be time to explore platforms like letWizard. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you on the next one.